Hi there, everyone. So, this card I drew the other day, and I'm gonna it's a full moon tomorrow, so I'm gonna speak a little bit about the moon card, or maybe just throw out a little exercise out there that might be interesting for you to do when this card comes up. So, the moon is very much asking us to look at the subconscious, the hidden, the past, what's buried inside of us, the dark side of our story, or what is hidden. Dark not necessarily meaning bad or wrong or twisted in some way, but dark as in hidden and not seen very well. But when the moon comes up, it's a sign that there's something hidden, or that something in our darkness that is ready to be seen. And so here's a good exercise. Since the moon represents a lot of our conditioning in the past and a lot of our old programming with these archetypes of more animalistic parts of ourself, or history inside of us that's coming out of the waters to be seen, that's coming out to be felt, heard, touched, noticed, recognized in some way or another, then take a look at your past, but maybe not necessarily just your past, but the past of your ancestors. Take a look at your mother and your father specifically. Take a look at what lessons they have obviously not learned, or what stories they have not recognized inside of themselves and consequently not taught you, or not being able to show a good example to you. It doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter whether your parents are still alive or not. Just take a look at some of that history. You can look at your grandparents too. Take a look at that ancestry, that history that you have inside you, because sometimes the failings, or I don't know if I like the word failings, but what our parents have not managed to realize, understand, transcend inside of themselves, then becomes our job, then becomes by default the next generation's work. And it's not for us to judge anybody, and it's not a judging story. It's just to be able to recognize, oh yes, my mum had this issue with that dynamic, or with this area of life, with the whole masculine, or with understanding the sensitivity of the feminine, or with something. And my dad definitely had this issue with that, and I can see, and then try to relate to it, then see how you relate to those stories. You might have to take a step back, because we might not recognize some of those patterns inside of us. We might have to look in an energetical or symbolic way in order to be able to relate what my father's issues with his masculine relationships may well then transfer into my issues with my masculine relationships, for example. Just to see patterns, just to see stories, because there are patterns, programs and stories in the subconscious that are ready to be seen when this card comes up. And looking at our parents as a wonderful, with an objective perspective, is a beautiful way to start to recognize the stories that we need to work on more clearly, more consciously. When something comes to the light, it usually comes to the light also with some sort of resolution, some sort of path, some sort of pathway to the mountains in the background. So that seeing something isn't just all we need to do, but understanding, now what do I need to do now that I've seen something, so now that I've recognized something inside of me? What can I do to make my journey to the higher version of myself more conscious, more direct, more focused, more real, more honest, and more sincere? And that is part of the initiation of the moon. Have a wonderful day. I hope you can join me tomorrow in the full moon. If you're there, if not, you catch the replay, and I send you all the best from the sunny beaches of the Caribbean.